It's generally thought that bad weather hurts retailers, right? Not so fast. Storms, do they actually push off sales that would just happen anyway? Joining us from Philadelphia is Paul Walsh, Senior Vice President of Atmospheric and Environmental Research. Paul, do you think that's what some record-breaking storms and the weather that the East Coast has seen have really done? It didn't really hurt retail so much as just shift what people were buying or push off or delay their purchases?
I think as it relates to Valentine's Day, the fact that the storms happened early enough in the week and the roads were able to be cleared in time that we may see really a mad rush in terms of Valentine gifts here as we move into especially Saturday. But when I look at the month of February overall, especially now on the back of January sales, which are actually pretty good, I think that the net effect of this weather in February is going to be bad overall for retail. So it's not just a matter of the snow, it's also the fact that it's been so cold and also the fact that it's been so widespread and we've been losing so many days. It's just unprecedented.
But doesn't that just push sales off? That's the debate Dagan and I had earlier this week. If I want to go buy a shirt and it's snowing, maybe I won't go out that day to buy the shirt, but eventually I'm going to buy the shirt, right? I mean, how much is actually net lost rather than just pushed along?
The problem, Brian, is that, yes, you will eventually sell that product, that seasonal product, but those products are very time sensitive this time of year. And if that shirt isn't sold, or more specifically that pair of shorts isn't sold in March, for example, but it's sold in April, it's going to be sold at a lower cost because it's going to have to be marked down. So the impact of weather generally hits the bottom line as it relates to margin costs. So when we're looking at the weather that impacts sales, that delays sales, it actually is impacting margins, which ultimately impacts earnings. So it is material.
Paul, one of the problems that many retailers had this go-around with these recent storms is they just didn't have the stock, the product in-house, in inventory to meet demand. Is that going to be an even bigger problem if we have cold weather, which you expect in the spring months?
Yes, absolutely. And it looks like, one of the byproducts of having 3 feet of snow, at least I'm in the Philly area and really at ground zero, is that it's going to keep it cold. So we're looking at cold weather really going through the balance of February, and the comps for March also look cold. So demand for winter seasonal products is going to remain strong, and typically the assortments of products this time of year are really geared towards spring. So there may be some stock outs as it relates to jackets and sweatshirts and things like that. So that's also a negative sort of indicator as we move into spring.
And I guess then, based on your conclusions, Paul, retailers that are primarily based in the Northeast, they're going to have tough comps.
It looks like it, yeah, for February and even into March. So when we look at the comps as we move into the end of March, we'll be moving to a period where we'll finally start to see some positive comps. Maybe the snow will be melting. We'll start to see some more seasonal weather. So I think when we move into April, we're going to start to see stronger retail trends. But we've got a long road to hoe for the next 4 to 6 weeks. It looks like the groundhog was right, at least as it relates to retail.
And also tough sledding for any lawmakers who are focused on climate change regulation, right, Paul?
Yeah, perception is reality as we're talking about that particular topic. And while these kind of events are actually symptomatic of what would be expected in a climate change environment, it doesn't look good when Washington, D.C. is under feet of snow when all of these kind of things are going on. I think we've talked about this in the past.
Paul, thank you for being here. Good to see you. Be warm. Senior Vice President of Atmospheric and Environmental Research.
All right, coming up in the 1 o'clock Eastern Time.